You're with Julian on the Brown Note. And Climate Change, We're All Gonna Die, episode 3. So I've done a few of these intermittently over the last probably 3 years, looking at the fact that we have left it far too late already to act on climate change, and that we are going to go past the 1.5 centigrade increase that was terminable, and that was going to be the thing we were trying to avoid is inevitable because we have left it far too late. If only we had acted like we acted on COVID, believing scientists and acting as a race on like the entire human race, acting on the best information they had from the best people to give it to. Instead, we didn't. We had the right-wing media cabal trying to turn it into a leftist issue because apparently only leftists actually want to stay alive on planet Earth. And pointing out how badly things are going to go, but also the fact that it is entirely within our power to make it much worse. So we can indeed act in ways that will not increase the global temperature as much as possible and ameliorate the more damaging effects. But I've said like the next 10 years, the next 15 years are going to be incredibly brutal. And, you know, there's going to be a lot of paradigm shifts in the way that the international communities relate to each other and human beings live. I thought there's a kind of irony as well at the moment. The anti-vax crowd and the conspiracy theorists are going around now saying that everything they said was right. See, we told you. Nothing they said was right. They get one thing right out of 100. Forget the 99 things they claimed were going to happen that never happened, and make out like they're right. But they really show their true colours when it comes to anything posted on climate change or by NASA. Which isn't that they're against one untested vaccine at all. They're against science. And the root of a lot of this is the evangelical movement in America as well. And in Australia. These people are rabidly anti-science. So it's obviously things have gotten much, much better since the last time I did one of these hysterical pieces. Except it hasn't. It's got much, much worse. Southern Europe will continue to swelter next week, as an intense heat wave shows no sign of abating. Italy, Spain and Greece have been experiencing high temperatures for several days. The heat wave is expected to continue with 48 centigrade predicted in Sardinia. A European high record is 48.8, and that was recorded 2 years ago in Sicily. Italian weather services said the island will be at the epicenter of next week's heat wave, which forecasters have dubbed Charon, after the ferryman who delivered souls into the underworld in Greek mythology. Italy's government's advised anyone in the areas covered by the red alerts to avoid direct sunlight between 11 and 6. The tour guide Felicity Hinton in Rome told the BBC, "My tour guide friends and I are extremely stressed. People are fainting on the streets. Ambulances are everywhere." She noticed a marked change in summer temperatures since around 2003, almost exactly what the scientists have been saying. In Greece, they've hit 40 centigrade or more in recent days. The Acropolis in Athens was closed to protect visitors. In Spain, a forest fire on the island of La Palmas evacuated 500 people. The Balkans, Serbia and Hungary are already experiencing daily temperatures hovering around 35 centigrade. Globally, these patterns are becoming more frequent and lasting longer due to global warming. If only someone had told us this would happen 20 or 30 years ago. Last month was the hottest June on record, according to the EU, but at least it's going better in America. No, it's not. A dangerous US heat wave is forecast to intensify this weekend. Do not underestimate the impact of the heat. Nearly a third of Americans, 113 million people, are under heat advisories from Florida to California. Phoenix, Arizona was starting the day at 37 centigrade and is likely to hit 43 for the 16th day in a row, 43 centigrade. Death Valley in California is one of the hottest places on Earth and is at 53 centigrade in neighbouring Canada. Officials say wildfires stoked by above average temperatures, which has covered part of the US in smoke, have burnt 10 million hectares of land. Heat is the leading cause of weather-related deaths most years. Las Vegas, Nevada is likely to reach 47 centigrade this week. It looks like we're in a paradigm now of years of flooding followed by years of intense heat wave. We had our heat wave in Sydney a few years before the rains hit, and we had those bushfires, and we had a 47, 48 centigrade day in parts of Sydney. This is what's coming. I was at home in the middle 2 weeks of winter in Sydney yesterday in a t-shirt and shorts, and to be honest, I didn't want it that much hotter, and that's the coldest 2 weeks of the entire year. We're all going to die, and there's not much we can do about it. We can just make it better, and we can make it better by listening to the people who are the experts and not listening to these rancid conspiracy theorists that generally hate science entirely and have been facilitated by the people that own all of the industries that have benefited from doing the things that have led to this climate change. So the whole world is going to change dramatically over the next 10 or 20 years, and I really feel for all of the people that are growing up into this era where they can't afford to buy their own home or live on planet Earth without burning to death. We are kind of responsible for deliberately doing all of these things despite all of the warnings to the contrary. So another happy-go-lucky climate change, we're all going to die.